Welcome to the wasted world of sports, where the game's just a backdrop for drunken retorts. Rugby League or Union, it's all fair play, but it's the banter that steals the show. Hey, 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 hey. Ahoy, we're here to make some noise. It's all about the laughs, the fun, and the joys. Join us in our world where the banter is prime. Wasted world of sports, we're having a good time. Scrums and tries, they're all well and good, but we're here for the jokes and tank pads last.
Wasted World of Sports crew. Ahoy, how's everybody doing? Oh, whoopsie me. I forgot to go live on TikTok. Bear with me for just a second. Let's go live over there. All Black. First prime. Third test. Raven 187. Ahoy. How are you going? Yes, indeed. As I just said, All Blacks versus France. Third test. Looking forward to this one. The All Blacks have already got the series wrapped up, so it's a dead rubber, essentially. But that doesn't mean France don't have a lot to play for. They don't want to go home on the back end of a clean sweep, even if this has only been a development series for them. And that was pretty evident with the team that they sent over. Took the fight to the All Blacks in the first test, but then it's been pretty much one-way traffic. Test number 2 was an easy victory. And the All Blacks, they've thrown out a little bit of a different-looking squad for this one, so maybe, just maybe, France have an opportunity here to strike the good old-fashioned ambush, if you will. Heel fries, ahoy, mate. Parramatta ended up getting smashed, did they? When I switched it off to get ready for this game, it was all locked up at 16 apiece. And I went, wow, they might actually be a chance here. Here come the traditional faders. I mean, we don't call the Canberra Raiders the Canberra Faders for no reason. It's because they start seasons well and then fall off a cliff. And I thought, here they come again, the faders. But anyway, I digress. This game here. So, a slightly different looking All Blacks team. So, Ethan de Groot, Semasoni Takiaho comes into the starting squad. No Cody Taylor. Terrell Lomax gets a start. Patrick Tuipulotu, Fabian Holland, Semapini Finau, Adi Surveyor, my boy. He's in my try scorer multi as well, by the way. Adi Surveyor. Luke Jacobson comes in at number 8. Cortez Ratama, Damien McKenzie gets his chance. Sevu Reese, Quint Tupaya, Anton Leonard-Brown. Will Jordan moves to the wing. And Ruben Love comes in at fullback. So some changes there from Scotty Razor Robinson. Kiriyama Brass, ahoy. Mookie, ahoy, mate. DeCarlo. Has the match started? Not yet. Just running through the All Blacks team. Wayne Stretch, ahoy, buddy. Yes, indeed. Welcome along, everybody. The third and final test. And then, of course, later tonight, we've got the British and Irish Lions taking on the Wallabies in the first test. Been excited for that one. 12 years in the making. I still remember where I was watching the last Lions tour of Australia. One particular night, I was out for dinner at a fancy Italian restaurant. I specifically remember that. I was surprised I didn't get asked to leave, actually, because I was following along on my phone. And as we know, I can get quite excited about the games. It wasn't a nice, peaceful dinner for a lot of people. Jordan 2.0, ahoy, mate. But anyways, Kiriyama Barras, Rico Ioane is just being rested tonight. They've already got the series wrapped up, do the All Blacks, so they've thrown in some changes. Scott Razor Robertson just getting some minutes under some of the troops, especially on the interchange bench. Look at the subs: Brodie McAllister, George Bauer, Fletcher Newell, Dalton Papali'i, Duplessis Karifi, Noah Hotham, and Tavatavanawai's there on the bench as well. So Damian McKenzie gets his chance. Bowden Barrett being rested. Rico Ioane being rested. A relatively new look All Blacks team for this one. KCT. Are the All Blacks any good these days? Well, they're currently ranked number 2 in the world behind the Springboks. So they're going all right. Now, the World Rugby rankings, as we know, don't necessarily portray a realistic view of where the teams start, or where the teams stand, I should say. But I think it's a fair reflection at the moment. Dylan Egan, ahoy mates. Yes, the Sharks were pretty good last night, but let's also, as a Shark supporter, not get carried away, because in that final 15 minutes or so, the Roosters were absolutely diabolical. The poor old Roosters, they were atrocious to finish the game last night. So 31-27 in the opening test to the All Blacks, 43-17 in the second. Paul Oosthuizen. Ahoy, mate. Doing very well, thank you, Paul. Looking forward to this one. Can the All Blacks clean sweep? Or can France head back with, I would say, a passing grade on this tour? We knew from the start that this was an experimental tour for France, a development tour, if you will. They sent a very young and inexperienced squad over, so if they can eke out a win here, any sort of victory at all, doesn't matter if it's 1 point or a comprehensive 13-plus victory, I dare say that at any win at all, they'll be satisfied. More than satisfied. Cat Lego, ahoy. All the best to the All Blacks. All the best to me as well. My same game multi, we had a shocker last night after a week last week of nailing one and then coming up with 3 out of 4 legs. KCT says, last time I sort of followed New Zealand rugby, Dan Carter and all of them legends were still playing and they were unbeatable. Guess they're a little more beatable these days. Yes, they went through their rebuild phase, KCT, and they've got a pretty solid-looking team going into the next World Cup. I mean, they were number 1 and 2 in the world. As I said, Springboks in New Zealand. It is actually a pretty fair reflection of where things are right now, with the Springboks winning the last World Cup, defeating the All Blacks in the final. So they are clearly the 2 top teams at the moment. As the anthems are underway, then we'll have the haka, and then we can get into it. Oh, now I also have to have... I'll get my stats ready. Better get my stats screen ready for this one. Yeah, let's see. There we go. And, of course, don't forget, as I said, coming up later tonight, British and Irish Lions' first test against the Wallabies. Talking about a team that used to be good, right? And we have to go way, way back for the time when the Wallabies were red hot. It's hard to remember back when the Wallabies were almost unbeatable. Am I going to be streaming the Argentina game? Depends when it is. Late 70s, says Craig Kennett. No. I'm talking about the Eels, Gregan, Larkham era. Dan Herbert and Horan. And who was the coach? His name escapes me. Yep. Gone. The name's gone, but the most successful Wallabies coach of all time. God, they were a good team. $5:40 a.m. my time. Jordan 2.0. Dylan says, ever since that tragic World Cup run, the Wallabies have not been the same. God, it's going to drive me crazy now until I know that coach's name. Most successful Wallabies coach. I can't believe that this name has escaped me. I really can't. Rod McQueen. How did I forget that name? Rod McQueen. Hands down, the most successful Wallabies coach of all time. Raven 187, that penalty kick from John Eels. Oh, not the one in... Was it in Dunedin or was it in Wellington? I think I know the one you're talking about. Matt Burke, I believe it was, who might have been the first choice kicker at the time, was off the field. The Wallabies got a penalty. A penalty goal was going to win the Bledisloe Cup back for them. The first choice kicker was off the field. John Eels immediately pointed to the post, stepped up and said, I'll take it. As the All Blacks have pulled out the traditional haka. They started the tour with the newer version, Kapoango. They've gone back to the traditional haka here for Game 3. Tania Godwin, ahoy! And Artie Savia, captain of the team, leading the haka, and hopefully, for my sake, leading his team to a solid victory and leading himself over the try line tonight. As once again, France forced to just stand there and watch on. Bring back the old school. I talked about this last week during the test. I'll talk about it again. Bring back the old school. Let them contest the haka in their own way. Let them get up in their faces and accept the challenge. Referee for this one. Well, this ought to be interesting. Referee Angus Gardner. He's a bit hit or miss, Angus, isn't he? Sometimes he has a really good night out. Other times he's diabolical. Hopefully he's got good control over this one. The All Blacks have played France in 14 cities, but this is their first ever meeting in Hamilton. So there you go. How's that for a little stat? SC, ahoy, mate. You've got $500 on the All Blacks to win 13 plus. Whoa, what a time for the All Blacks to have essentially a reserve grade squad running out for you, huh? Luke Jacobson has been injured during warm-up. Right, so we've got to change immediately. The number 8, Luke Jacobson, injured during the warm-up. So straight onto the field comes Duplessis Karifi. And we're underway in this one. The All Blacks with the kickoff. And they compete. Sevu Reece was flying through the air there. And they've come up with the ball. Cortez Ratama fires it back into midfield. And here is Artie Savea, captain. Get himself across the try line. That'd be nice. Mackenzie, who's got his chance here to start at 5/8. Can he take advantage of it? Mackenzie with the short ball onto Finau. Mackenzie again, coming to the right edge they go. Nice wrap around there. And it's Artie Savea who takes it in. Wearing the number 8. So actually, Artie Savea has shifted to 8. And Karifi is wearing the number 7. Back to Damian Mackenzie, who puts this one high. Contestable ball out to the right side. What a take, though, by Leo Baer. The French fullback. Hell of a take. And France are in possession. They've repelled the early attack of the All Blacks. CJ Dunn, ahoy mates. Kick sent down over halfway, taken to the back, and here come the All Blacks now. Ruben Love, dummies, almost goes through half a gap. What a kick return there from Love. They're 40 metres out now. The All Blacks back in French territory, down the short side, which is over on the left. Sevu Reece tries to duck under a tackle. Back into midfield, Takiaho to McKenzie, fires it over to I am de Groot. Ratama sends it left. Cut out pass there for Reece, who has to step back in field as he runs out of space. Well defended here from France. Dad Jam, ahoy mate. CJ Dunn, ahoy. De Groot held up and driven back in the tackle. France need to get out of there. They do. Ratama has the ball. Very slow service to McKenzie. Finds some space in behind that rushing French defence, though. And a kind bounce puts pressure on, but it's well cleaned up. Very close to the sideline here, though, France. Still there for them, and they recover. And they can go about their business, setting up a clearing kick. Zakor Kadir, ahoy, mate. And the box kick is the option. Legatic straight down the throat, though, of Ruben Love at the back. And he's got McKenzie with him. McKenzie's caught. Fires the pass back to Love. And the All Blacks, taken down on halfway, have lost the ball. Ruben Love loses it in contact. A decent start, though, for the young fullback. Coming up with the little mistake there, the knock-on. Cheeky little knock-on. So a solid start to this game. The All Blacks throwing some attack. And France, the defense, comfortably repelling it for now. Both teams, I think, would be relatively happy with this start. We get our first scrum of the game. As you can see so far, all the game being played down in French territory. And the only time they've really had the ball thus far is to put a clearing kick in. They haven't strung together any phases. David Terakara. Ahoy, mates. Here come the men in black. Zakor, I haven't got the new Rugby League game, actually. I figured that I would wait until they fix all the errors. It's always the way with video games these days. You play the patience game as France win their scrum and they break away to the left. Taking the line on is Leo Bear, shown the sideline. And it's play on as the All Blacks march over the top of it. And a penalty there as France dive in and seal off. A set-piece play from the scrum, but nothing doing there. Thunderblast says, I would have benched Jordan Barrett. Yeah, Geordie Barrett. You mean bench completely, as in not move to the bench. You mean off the team completely. Because, he is in the number 23 tonight, Jordan Barrett. Geordie Barrett. All Blacks go over the top of the line out, and it's very scrappy. Brought away by the French hooker. Oh, Will Jordan. Sorry, as a little bit of a piss take, I call Geordie Barrett Jordan Barrett. Of course, you mean Will Jordan. Some enterprising play here from France over on the right edge. But the kick deflects off the All Blacks. Charge down and into touch. France will get the line-out throw. Yeah, Will Jordan shifting to the wing. Honestly, Will Jordan's the fullback. Will Jordan should always be the fullback and will always be the fullback in my mind. So, yes, if you're not going to play him at fullback, give him a rest. France take the line out throw. The rolling maul collapses and it's penalty advantage. First real point scoring opportunity here. As the ball flies out the back of the ruck off the All Blacks' hands, Adesogbe collects it. Gives the inside pass. They're inside the 22 here. And looking good. Juilliard carries it forward, and we've got an issue there. Angus Gardner says we'll come back for the penalty. And here's an opportunity for France, and this will show us exactly where their mindset is. It's a gift 3 points. Well, not a gift, but it's a relatively simple three-pointer in rugby circles. Do they elect to take it, though? Are they going to put it into the corner? That will show us their mindset. It looks like they're going for the corner. Hastoy. Antoine Hastoy steps up and puts it into the corner. A 5-meter line-out throw. Look out for the rolling maul. Brian McCall, ahoy, mate. And John Michael, ahoy. 5-meter line-out throw over on that far right-hand side of touch. As France running right to left in this opening half. Big opportunity for them to make a nice early statement. Here they go. Throw goes to the front and it's claimed by Arudu. The rolling maul is set. All Blacks get numbers in there and hold it steady for now. But now they march forward. France are over the line. Now it heads backwards. It's still up, though. The rolling maul still formed. Legatic from scrum half darts off the back of the maul and dives over to score down the blind side. Nolan Legatic with the first try, and France are up 5-0. What a start. Declining the shot at 3 points from the penalty, putting it into the corner instead. They've gone for the full complement of points, and they've got their first 5. That was some beautiful work there. And of course, Legatic not in my same game multi, because it's just not a good weekend for my same game multis. It's always the way. It's the cycle of same game multis. This conversion attempt now from out wide, keeping it just inside that far upright, shaves the upright. But that's all it has to do. 7 points to 0. France, what a start. Nine minutes only into this contest. And France have got the lead. All Blacks send the restart, dropping it just outside the 22 on the right side of the field. Claimed by France. They can set up their exit now. Back in field to set up another ruck. Give themselves a slightly better angle. John Michael, it was the traditional kamate. As Legatic, the try scorer. Box kick goes upfield. McKenzie takes a couple of steps. Kicking it back straight down the throat of Barry, who returns fire. And again, McKenzie takes it on the full. Or Ruben Lovett is this time, sorry. And the game of foursome backs begins. Hastoy angling this one towards touch. And it's out on the full. So the All Blacks will win this territorial battle. Hastoy, he's not happy with the call. Puts it into touch on the full from outside. He's 22. And we come all the way back up to the French side of the field. Hastoy still complaining. He's not happy about it. So Hastoy's taken a few steps. He hooks this one to touch. Now his claim is that Will Jordan there, or it might have been Ruben Love, I didn't quite see the number, has taken the ball in the field of play and carried it over the sideline. But anyways, it's the All Blacks in possession. France look to counter-attack or counter-ruck. Still there for the Blacks, though. Artie Savea plays scrum half. Keeping it in tight as they go through the phases. 11 minutes gone. Mackenzie down the left, short side. And Leonard Brown goes to ground. Tadia Godwin says France are pretty good at getting first points on the board. All 3 games, they've done that. .22 out from the line now. The All Blacks. Ratama digs it out to Mackenzie in midfield. Leonard Brown switches directions, heads back towards the ruck, and he's dumped in a 2-man tackle. Huge defense from France here. Takiaho bumps off one, but from a standing start, he's gone nowhere. Staying on the short side. Left they go. Jordan with the cutout pass to Reese. Sever Reese out of space. Has to come back in field. And it's still there for the All Blacks. This French defense, solid to start the game. No cracks, no line breaks for the All Blacks so far. As Jordan lays it back, here's Mackenzie wrapping around the back of the ruck, and we've got an offside here, penalty advantage as Lomax is driven back in the tackle. Ratama to Jordan, who kicks through for Sevu Reese. Adesogbe's back, Batty's back, but nobody picks it up. Reese has got it, gives it back in field now to Ratama. All Blacks 10 metres out. The Garrick gets in and spoils, but it's still there for the All Blacks. We come back for the penalty. Well, Theo Adesogbe and Leo Batty, they're at the back. Miscommunication. They had that kick through covered, and they both just stood and watched it as Sevu Reese collected it and nearly scores the try. The All Blacks now find touch about 10 metres out from the line. Here's an opportunity, rolling maul. They've got to win the line out first, of course. And this brings my boy Takiaho into play. John Michael, you remember one time Piri Wipu leading the haka, Kapaongo, and he gave out Undertaker vibes with the throat slash. Yeah, very nice, very nice. As All Blacks win the line out, they pop it down off the top of the line out immediately, and France kick the loose ball upfield as the execution is poor on the set-piece play. Mackenzie scrambles back and takes it, but they're right back in their own half now. France pile in and drive over the top. They've walked over the top of this, France, and they'll have front foot ball. The Garrick scoots off down the short side, gives it off to Adesogbe, who cuts back in field. Play on. Still here for France. It's scrappy as they bring it back to midfield, and they've lost the ball. It was too scrappy. Some errors from both teams. France will win that territorial advantage, though. Yeah, remember when Kapaongo first came out and the fuss that it caused? I remember Australian rugby, the ARU were like, if they do that, they can't do the throat slit. If they do the throat slitting motion, there's going to be an uproar. And I remember thinking to myself, it's a psychological win for the Wallabies if the All Blacks don't do it. Well, they ended up playing nice, and they did traditional kamate. And, of course, they ended up smoking the Wallabies in that game anyway, but I was a little bit worried about it. When they didn't perform the new one, I thought they've given in to the ARU. They've given them a psychological leg up. But, anyway, they won. Scrum collapses on this near side. Angus Gardner says, I don't care, let's play on. And Mackenzie from inside the 22 sends it deep, but it's taken on the fall by Batty. And he runs it back into the All Blacks half. Beats the first tackle, pops the pass back, and it's intercepted. Will Jordan comes away with it. Karifi has it now in midfield. About 30 out from their own line, the All Blacks, so they've lost a lot of territory. Well, Manuel Snow, in fairness, this is an All Blacks B team as well. This is an All Blacks B team, and this is Oh, Legatic putting the kick through into open space. Batted back in field. I couldn't see who that was. Oh, it was Villiers. But it's picked up by Ratama, who's tackled into touch on halfway. So, yes, in fairness, Manuel Snow, this is certainly not the full-strength All Blacks team either. As we've got an injury stoppage here, Baptiste Dosio. Down with the trainers, getting his leg attended to. Tadia Godwin says it made the front page news in the UK. Wow. Big news then, huh? Well, it certainly didn't make the front page here because rugby union stuff would never make the front page here in Australia. This is AFL and rugby league territory. John Michael says, imagine the Undertaker actually standing there in front of you performing. Yeah, I went and saw the Undertaker's one-man show. He wasn't in character for it, but he did do one particular segment where he sort of slipped into character and did the eye roll and lifted the arms and everything, and just, yeah, being in that presence, even though you know it's all an act. Here's a big guy putting on a scary face. It's like, yeah. Wow, it was something to behold. Put it that way. As France secure the line-out ball on halfway, immediately send it out into midfield. Not afraid to spread the ball early. And here's Adesogby in space. Adesogby steps inside Reese. Gets the offload to Deporte there. They're 30 out from the line again. France looking good, I've got to say. This has been a great start to the game for the French. For Dosio, the injured player, he's up and about again. He's fine. And Hastoy kicks in behind, bounces it into touch. About 10 meters out from the line, Ruben Love happily watches it go across the sideline. 17 and a half minutes gone. France are up 7-0. And they're playing well. They are playing really well. All credit where credit is due as Takiaho throws to the middle. No more set. Once again, they bring it out. And a very, very optimistic chip and chase from Artie Sarvea hands the ball back to France. Legatic to Gouliard. They're 10 meters out. France on the attack. In over the top of this one, Karifi looking for the turnover, but he's cleaned out. Still there for France. Now, I really have to question that decision. The chip over the top. From 10 meters out from your own line, a chip and chase is probably not the option. Artie Sarvea, he might want that one back again. This is not Super Rugby. To the right they go. France, 10 meters out from the line. The ball spills out onto the All Black side of the ruck, and it's a penalty, says Angus Gardner. The ball is spilt out because the tackler did not release. And they're going to have the shot at 3 here, France. They're going to apply scoreboard pressure to the All Blacks. It's a gift 3-pointer. Artie Sarvea with the chip over the top of the defensive line, 10 meters out from their own try line, is that's a moment. That's a moment to remember. Not entirely sure what that was all about. Gina Ferracini. Ahoy. And Legatic has got all the points so far as France lead 10 points to 0. a quarter of the way through this contest. And it's Legatic with all of France's points. Manuel Snow saying Buzz is talking about pressure on coaching that could be sacked. Because bottom of the ladder, Titans, Tigers, Cowboys, Manly Knights, and Eels. As the All Blacks get us back underway, landing it right on the 22. But it's an easy take for France, uncontested. And the ruck is set. About 15 in from that far sideline. Bringing it back into midfield. Getting themselves a better exit angle. And it's Legatic digging it out. Boy, he's had a good start to the game. A try, a conversion, and a penalty goal. And Legatic now with the box kick up over halfway. McKenzie takes it. Gives it back in field for Love. Love steps into his own man. Tyrrell Lomax. All discombobulated there from the All Blacks. And Ratama finds space with the box kick. Will Jordan's leading the chase. Will Jordan gets the bounce. And he scores the try out of absolutely nowhere. Will Jordan strikes back. A tick off the multi. A try for the All Blacks. 10-5 kick to come. Ruben Love with the kick return. Runs into his own man. Surrenders in the tackle on halfway. And then there was nobody at the back for France. Ratama spots the space. And puts the box kick in over the top. Perfect bounce for Will Jordan. And France, why did they have nobody back there? They'd been doing so well, so well. And just one moment of poor defense. McKenzie converts. And it's suddenly 10 points to 7. John Michael says, is this match on Stan or Sky in New Zealand? Well, I'm viewing it on Stan Sports in Australia. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm watching it on Stan. But I think they just patch into the Sky feed. Back underway. McKenzie takes the kickoff. And loses the ball. Oh, dear. France back in possession. Legatic. If he can get the ball out to the right, there's numbers. But the play breaks down in midfield. Still trying to send it right, but they switch direction. Back in field goes Fickow. Staying left here. Fisher carries it to the 22. Legatic goes quickly. Darts out of scrum half and he's caught. No meters made there. The pick and go is now the option. Juilliard. Keeping it tight in midfield. One out from the ruck. Running out of options here, France. But Creepy never closer to the line. 23 and a half minutes gone. 10-7. Another pick and go. Oradu. Now they break left. Oh, Hastoy runs out of space, runs out of options, snaps a drop goal instead. Well, why not? Hastoy was thinking about switching direction, bumped into his own man, so he just sits back in the pocket and snaps the drop goal. He had an eternity to do that. The All Blacks holding back in defense. And a nice little droppy there from Hastoy. 13 points to 7. France now in the lead. King James. Wallabies versus Lions to win. Oh, I think the Lions win. The Wallabies do have an opportunity, of course, and we'll talk about that more in the Wallabies game. But yes, I expect the Lions to win quite comfortably as McKenzie looping around the back. Dummies almost breaks through. Numbers to the left here for the All Blacks. But France, Adesogby jams in and they defuse that situation. Reese Tries to pass the ball back, and it's claimed by Tui Pelotu. Leonard Brown, 10 from the line. Reese with the pick and go, but can't make any meters. Gamamel Ahoy. Staying down the short side. Tui Pelotu goes out the back for Mackenzie. Love is up in the line and tries to fight his way over. 5 meters out. Tui Pelotu on the crash ball. They're a meter short now, the All Blacks. Half a meter out. Pick and go. Is that Severis trying again? Artie Surveyor, is it? No, it's not. Takiaho. One out from the ruck to Finau. Finau's across the line, but he's held up. He's held up, Finau. They were almost over a couple of times there, the All Blacks. Takiaho was one of them, I believe. That would have been good for my multi. Ruben Love nearly got through himself. There was Takiaho. He went close. And then Finau held up. Goal line restart now for France. Hastoy sends it low and flat and deep, straight up the middle of the park. Trapped with the boot by Ruben Love, and here's Artie Surveyor. Surveyor brings it. They're about 40 meters out here from the French line. Heading right, Leonard Brown to Mackenzie, looping around the back. Puts the little kick through behind for Will Jordan. Gets a second toe to it, and it beats everybody dead in goal. Well, they're finding some real space in behind the defensive line. Mackenzie putting these little kicks through, and Will Jordan using his pace to great effect. And an unkind bounce on this occasion. Menaz. Yes, we will be doing the Wallabies versus Lions for sure as France go quickly and they find some space in behind, but Mackenzie charges onto it. Huge pass infield to Ruben Love. And he kicks it in, trying to get it in behind Adesogbe, but Adesogbe drops back and takes it on the full. Sends the kick back into the All Blacks 22. Mackenzie takes it on the full. Runs it up to the line and aims for touch. From inside the 22, he finds his touch about 30 out from the French line. Hell of a kick there. As Villiers thinks about going quickly. 27 and a half minutes gone, 13 points to 7. France in the lead. Speaking of video games, for those interested, I am just a matter of weeks away from restarting my video gaming channel on YouTube. So if you are interested, Intoxi Gamer, I'll be restarting that very, very soon as the All Blacks secure the line-out throw. And they set up play now in midfield, 40 meters out. Tupaya steps back infield towards the ruck. Mackenzie wrapping around the back again. Cut out pass. And standing out here on the wing is Finau. Some fancy footwork from the big fella. And they're just outside the 22 on this right edge. The near touchline as the All Blacks run from left to right. Tupaya lays it back. Staying on the short side. Karifi held up and driven back in the tackle. Got to get it to ground, but it's ripped away by Takiaho. And now they get some go forward. Jordan from the back of the ruck almost spills it. Ratimer's there now for Savia to pop the pass up. 22 meters out. Going through the phases and just getting ever closer. Oh, there's some gaps out to the left. Some big gaps. The ball spills out of the ruck. And France steal it away, but illegally. Failing to roll away, says referee Angus Gardner. Now, this is a gift three-pointer. I've got a feeling that they might put this into the corner, though. This is an absolute gift. They're thinking about it. They're going to have the shot. You know what? I like that. Common sense prevails. This is not Super Rugby. I talk about it all the time. You take the points when they're on offer. It's a test match. So you play test match rugby, not Super Rugby. I had a feeling that they would put that into the corner and go for the try. But with 10 minutes to go until the halftime break, a simple three-pointer makes it 13 points to 10. Manuel Snow says Pokemon is big money. It swaps for cash. You'd be surprised Pokemon people pay top dollar. Yeah, I can't say that I've ever played a Pokemon game, to be perfectly honest. As France get us back underway, and they compete for the ball and take it on the 22. Well contested in the air. France have it back now, just outside the 22. Brennan, driven back in the two-man tackle. All Blacks now piling over the top, but France play now to end defend well. Still in possession. Very slow ruck ball, though, as we approach half-time. Some very tired legs out there. Penalty advantage for France. This will nullify that three-pointer the All Blacks just got. Legatic has it at the back. Still penalty advantage. They can fire a shot here. Villiers with the pick and go. Now Legatic heads back into midfield and they get all scrambled up. Still penalty advantage for that original offside. And, Quint Tupai is in over the top and steals it away. But we come back for the penalty. Now, they'll have a shot at 3 here for certain. 22 metres out, 15 in from touch over on that right-hand side. And this will immediately nullify the 3 points that Mackenzie just put over down the other end. Very smart decision. Tania Godwin says BBC just said an interview with Johnny Sexton. There'll be 40,000 Lions fans at this next game. Yeah, you know what? I believe that. I 100% believe that. I mean, the Lions, the last time that they toured here, which was, of course, like 12 years ago, had such a big turnout. Penalty is good, and France lead 16-10. Opening up that lead once again. This has been a hell of a first half for them. Will Jordan getting across the line. That's about the only thing for the multi I've had to cheer about. As the All Blacks, a flat restart, not a lot of height on it. They look to drive in over the top, but it's still there for France. Bourgaret brings it out, sends it back to Hastoy in the 22. It would have been carried back, so he can't put this out on the full. Mackenzie kicks it high, chasing through, but it's a little too deep. And it's taken easily at the back for France. Leo Barry. Legatic now spotting some space in behind. Lands the kick nicely, but it sits up for Ruben Love. And Love kicks it down into the 22 for Hastoy. Can put this out on the full if he wants. And he does find a massive touch. Turning the All Blacks back around. Finding touch 10, 15 into their territory. Hell of a kick from Hastoy. Stephen Peterson, who have I got in the Doggies game? Don't have a same game multi in that one, but I have tipped the Doggies. Don't underestimate the Dragons, but yeah, I think the Dogs will be too good. Penalty now for France. All Blacks guilty of holding on, and this is kickable. This is very kickable. Mikael Juliard over the ball. And this could make it 19 points to 10. It's pretty much out in front. 40 meters out. Legatic to step up and have another shot. 35.5 minutes gone. France taking the fight to the All Blacks. Scott Robertson, he's not happy. Not a happy camper. Well, Scotty, you've got to remember, you put these guys out there. Decided to give them a run. Legatic moves in. Strikes it well. Does it hold its line? It does. It just sneaks in. 19 points to 10. France. What a first half it's been. Well, how many times have we seen it over the years? The French ambush. All Blacks get us back underway. Complex, basic. Ahoy, mate. Nice to see you again. France secure the kickoff. 3 minutes to go until the halftime break. And they lead by 9. Legatic's got it at the back. The box kick clearance. Sending it up over halfway or... Oh, no, he didn't. Well, he sent the ball up over halfway. But it was in touch and into the crowd a long way before that. Not a lot of meters made. The All Blacks, they'll have a shot here right before halftime. And we know what that usually means. All Blacks teams, traditionally very good at scoring in the championship minutes. Takiaho throws to the middle. Finau claims the ball, and the first rolling maul that I can actually remember them doing tonight goes absolutely nowhere. But they were way too far out for any impact anyway. Quint Tupaia now in midfield. Fisher looking to turn that ball over. Still there for the All Blacks though. Takiaho crawling forward. Just outside the 22 as they come down the right edge, which is the short side on this occasion. Jordan goes into scrum half. Turning it back into midfield. France over the top of this one. Look to steal it away. It's a penalty to the All Blacks. Now, decision time. 2 minutes to go. A penalty on the 22. They're going to put it into the corner. Damian McKenzie is putting it into the corner. 3 points would have brought the deficit down to 6. But we talk about it all the time, right? The championship minutes, 5 minutes before halftime, 5 minutes after halftime. That's where teams get most of their momentum. If they can come away with a try here, that'll be huge. Teeks, ahoy, mate. And Maria, ahoy. The crowd is fantastic, actually. Looks like a full house here. Takiaho goes to the front, uncontested. The rolling maul is set. Here come the All Blacks, right on the stroke of halftime. Takiaho has got it at the back. The maul is still set. It's still in motion. 4 meters out. Artie Savea now controls it at the back of the maul. Breaks away. Savea burrows under. Is he there? He's half a meter short. Tui Pulotu now. Centimeters away from the line. 1 minute to go till halftime. They're over the line here, the All Blacks. Somebody's got it. But it's held up. Up over the line here. France have diffused that very nicely. They're going to have a look here. They're going to have a look. The TMO. Just see what happens. So, I mean, Takiaho has been close a couple of times. Artie Savea, he got close. And Angus wants a look. He's called for the TMO to check grounding. Don't know how they're going to see anything from here. And it's Ethan de Groot they're having a look at. Oh, yeah, Ethan de Groot with his pants half down has the ball at the back. Now he muscles his way over the line. There's no way to tell if he's got that down. There's absolutely no way that this decision can be overturned. Unless this camera angle shows something. No, bodies and boots and arms and limbs in the way everywhere. Held up over the line as the call, and it will be a goal line dropout with 30 seconds to go until the halftime break. Oh, jeez. With the benefit of hindsight, you say they probably should have taken the points. What a moment that was for France. As the siren sounds, Hastoy sends it deep. And it's taken by Love, who gives it off to Sarvea. And Adi goes into contact about 30 meters out from the line. 35. Make that as Quint Tupaia steps off the right boot. Almost breaks through in midfield. Left for De Groot, who's held up and driven backwards in the tackle. Good, solid defense here from France as the All Blacks stay on the short side. Ratama to Takiaho. Karifi. Back to De Groot. France in over the top of this one. Looking to wrestle the ball away, but it's still there for Ratama. And Takiaho runs over the top of Legetic. Still there for the All Blacks, though. Time is up in this first half. McKenzie in midfield. Cut out pass to Finau, who dummies and straightens the attack. Ratama goes quickly down the short side. Love steps off the right foot. Carries it to the 22. Ratama to Sarvea, charging onto it. McKenzie on the wraparound. Numbers to the left. Will Jordan fires a pass out for Severis. Stepping back in field off the left. 10 meters out from the line now. De Groot goes again. That's about his fourth carry. Ratama out it goes to Tui Pelotu now. 5 out from the line, just to the left of the posts. Time is up on the clock. Half time inbound. Ratama goes to Tui Pelotu. Just 1 out from the ruck. Numbers again to the left. Sarvea, dummies, takes them on. France are not committing to the ruck here. They don't want to do any infringements. A meter short. The ball is trapped in there. Ratama's got to get it out. Spills out the back of the ruck. They swarm Ratama. France pile in and drive over the top. But it's still there for the All Blacks. Somehow, Adi Sarvea goes into play scrum half. De Groot. These are important minutes going into the halftime break. 2.5 minutes beyond the siren. McKenzie, cut out pass for Leonard Brown, who steps inside, slides across the line and scores. Anton Leonard Brown, 2.5 minutes into stoppage time at the halftime break. Steps off the right boot, slides across in the tackle. I thought about having him in my multi as well. It's easy to say that now. I legitimately thought about having him in my multi. Steps off the right, slides across in the 2-man tackle, and he scores about 10 meters to the right of the post. Oh, now did he advance this? Momentum definitely carried him across, and he slid across the line. But was there just a little hint of a second motion? It doesn't matter. The try's been awarded, and Mackenzie's converted it. And we go into halftime, 19 points to 17. And the All Blacks, they bit the bullet. There was a gift three-pointer on offer. They went for the try. Something that I've often criticized other teams of doing, knocking back the points. But they ended up coming away with the try in the end anyway. But boy, it took a lot of effort. And they had to go like 3 minutes into stoppage time. But they got there in the end. All right, what have we got going on in the chat room? CJ Dunn saying that he's a good Super Rugby coach. Scott Robertson, yeah, absolutely. And he'll be a great international coach as well. Yes, this game, of course, being played in Hamilton. So at halftime, Will Jordan, Anton Leonard-Brown, your try scorers for the All Blacks. And Nolan Ligaric with a try for France. Outside of that, it's been penalty goals and drop goals. Barry Hawks Kane, ahoy, mate. So, yes, Scott Robertson, I think, is the best choice for coach for the All Blacks. One thing that does surprise me is when Scott Robertson took over the team, and I can kind of understand the mindset, he didn't seem to make too many changes when he first came on board. And I found that really surprising. I thought new coach, come in, put the cleaners through the whole squad, out go Fozzie's ideas, out go Fozzie's players, in come my ideas, in come my players. But that didn't really happen. He did it slowly but surely over a period of time. And I feel like he kind of stuck to Fozzie's systems and just slowly started to change things. I think we're now at the phase where we're starting to see the full Scott Robertson blueprint. And all his players now are starting to come through. And I can kind of understand it. I do understand the mindset. You don't want to make mass changes too quickly, especially when you're talking about the All Blacks and that traditionally a supporter base that's not going to put up with a rebuilding phase, right? They won't put up with losses in the short term with a long-term picture. We want victories all the time, and we want them now. John Michael says, I have a strong feeling one day of eating a good, well-done steak. Oh, nah, I've got to say, honestly, I'm a blue man. Blue, dabba-dee, dabba-die. Martin Ferreira. Well done, France. Yes, 19-17 at the halftime break. The good old traditional French ambush. I've been through a couple of those in my time. I still remember the Wayne Barnes missed forward pass. That bizarre World Cup. Who was that? That was Henry. Henry and Hansen were the coaches. Graham Henry, was that his name? Graham Henry was the head coach. And he thought that it was a fantastic idea to trot out 2 All Black squads for that World Cup. Remember that? I remember that World Cup. He thought that he could trot out 2 All Black squads. And it was pretty painful watching the All Blacks, that quarterfinal, I believe it was, slide away while their best players were sitting on the sideline watching because it was the second team that had been given the nod to go out and play that week. DJ Shaq, ahoy, mate. Don't let that try at the end fool you. France's goal line defense has been outstanding. Absolutely, it has. And as I pointed out too, DJ Shaq, I mean, to put things in perspective, it took the All Blacks, like, what, they had to go 3 minutes, 2.5, 3 minutes into stoppage time in that first half to finally break the line. This has been a fantastic effort by France. A good old classic French ambush. But of course, that's what happens. I mean, a lot of these French players, this is the third game at the back end of a tour or a series. Not really a tour, is it? Back end of the series. And yeah, they're just looking a little bit more gelled. The All Blacks with a lot of changes in key positions. And they are playing like a team that's got a lot of changes in key positions. There's no fluidity to the attack. There's no gelling in some of these combinations, and that's to be expected. We were talking about that at the top of the stream. There's a real opportunity here for France, and they'll be desperate's probably not the right word. I mean, they'll be keen to go home with a win. Ben Levesque. France is doing great, considering the team is missing a few of their star players. I saw something about how the French club rugby scene, and that's the thing that we need to try and understand here in the Southern Hemisphere. International rugby at this particular part of the year is the be-all and end-all, right? We've got to remember that over in France, over in the European nations, this, I understand, is like the height of their club rugby. So yes, there are some players who have been unavailable because they're needed for their teams over there. And a tour to New Zealand just doesn't carry the same cachet as winning those club matches, those club tournaments. A pride game for France, and they want to keep it. Yes, I like that. Malefic says it's a good game so far. France is playing well. That's the one, DJ Shaq, the top 14. The top 14 is the best provincial rugby competition in the world. Maybe we should suss it out here. Suss it out here on the Waste of Water Sports as this channel continues to grow across all the social media platforms. Live for this one, of course, on YouTube, on TikTok, and on Twitch. Maybe we should check out some top 14 as this channel continues to grow, and I'm looking for some more content to add to the family. Might be one to look out for. Rock my balls, ahoy, mate. Without the Barretts, the All Blacks will choke. Geordie's on the bench. Geordie Barrett to come on and save the day, huh? Ruben Love to score. What do you reckon? Says MM4888. Yeah, look, Ruben Love's having a good game. He's having a decent game. He hasn't really been involved in too many attacking pieces in the red zone. So, I don't know. Hey, look, never say never. And it's not like my try scorers are doing too well. I mean, Takiaho got close, Salveo got close, but yeah. I probably wouldn't be putting too much weight on my opinion at the moment. I'm going through a very, very lean trot this weekend. That's what I was talking about. It's amazing how that always happens. So 2 weeks ago, I had like 3 or 4 in a row of getting 3 out of the 4 legs. And then last weekend, of course, we got 2 same game multis up. So we won 2 in the same weekend. And this weekend, there's only been one hit per game, if any. It's amazing how that happens. It just goes in cycles. Ollie is the best. Ahoy, mate. How are you enjoying the game? I believe Ollie is actually at the grounds, taking in this game live. Manuel Snow says, I hope the Bulldogs lose so they can drop Galvin, overrated player, Silver Spoon kid. Hey, man, say what you will about Lockie Galvin. He has got, if they treat him right and develop him properly, he's got a hell of a future. Hell of a future. Bacon Talk, 1, 2, 3. You're worried? Why is that? Why are you worried? Malefic says All Blacks going to win a nail biter. CJ Dunn says he has a lot of talent, talking about Galvin. Yeah, absolutely he does. I reserve the overrated tag for players like Reece Walsh. I mean, Reece Walsh has had years and years, and I know that he's still young, Reece Walsh, but he has had years upon years now to even come close to living up to the standard that they said that he was going to reach. And he hasn't even come close. He's gone backwards, if anything. So that's my definition of overrated. Lockie Galvin's in what? Still his first year? His first year at the top grades? So yeah, I wouldn't be writing him off just yet. Manoj, ahoy mate. Manoj says France all the way. I mean, they've played well this opening half. France controlled, despite that territory stat that's on the screen on YouTube and Twitch, where you can see a lot of play has been taking place down France's end in the red zone. 40% of it, in fact. Actually, let's get a refresher and see if that's changed any. No, so that is it. I mean, 62% territory. 62% territory to the All Blacks. I mean, that just goes to show you how well France have defended, right? For that kind of territorial discrepancy to go into halftime up by 2. Jessica, ahoy there. Jessica says, up the All Blacks. Yes. I mean, much respect for France, and I want to see a good game and call a good game. But yes, absolutely. We always want the All Blacks to win at the end of the day. Wayne Stretch says 10 points to 6 to the Dogs. Dragons playing well. Yeah, well, they're a good team, the Dragons. They're a very good team on paper. They haven't quite put it together this year, and they've got a great coach. I would say I'm more surprised when the Dragons don't play well as opposed to when they do. Do you know what I mean? They've got a great team on paper, and I'm really stunned at how poorly they're going overall this season. The Dragons are a much better team than 11th on the ladder, in my opinion. Back out for the second half. 19 points to 17. France lead at the break. Daniel Anderson, ahoy, mates. Walsh is just a show pony. He did nothing for the Warriors, just clipping the ticket. I'll drink to that. Cheers to that. Asanaka Wata. Toso All Blacks. Toso. Manoj says All Blacks second string. Long way to go. John Michael says 1 large carbonara with stuffed cheesy bread. Salami equals yum. I would like to order one fettuccine. Hey, second half's underway. And France secure the kickoff again. Well, they compete in the air and they've been winning that battle. And they immediately go on the attack here in the second half. 22 meters out in midfield. The pick and go is the option from Juilliard. The pressure is on the All Blacks immediately. France looking to respond. I mean, what a statement this would be. Giard. I've been calling him Juilliard. Giard. 10 meters out from the line, France. Into midfield, Orado. 10 meters out. To the right side of the field they go. Deporter. All Blacks defense holds firm for now. Ball spills out the back of the ruck. It's play on. Legarek is swamped. All Blacks look to pile in. But they've lost some ground. Back to the 22. Still there for them, though. A minute gone in the second half. Keeping it close in midfield. Close to the ruck, that is. Held up now. The France have got to get this ball to ground. They do. Good defense from the All Blacks. 10 meters out still. France now switch direction. Oh, it's another drop goal. Hastoy steps back in the pocket and he missed it. Well, the crowd boos as Hastoy steps back in the pocket, takes the shot at drop goal. The crowd is booing because apparently we don't like drop goals here in the Southern Hemisphere. You know what? That reminds me of Yanni de Beer. The South African Rugby World Cup run. Yanni de Beer, the drop goal master. But anyway, this one's away to the left from Hastoy. Again, Villiers competes in the air, wins it for France. And Guillard picks it up. Oh, no, the knock-on is called. And will come down for a scrum. Actually, you know, I found this photo. Here is little me. This is very, very young me with my grandmother, who has long since passed away. But here, I'll see if I can put this up. Yeah, there is a very little Dan with his grandmother from back in the day. I love it when you find old photos just laying about the place. Frantic start to this second half. Hakari Mutu, 10-6, doggies over the Dragons. As the scrum collapses and the All Blacks get a free kick, Artie Savea taps and goes. Runs it up over halfway before it's brought to ground. Front foot ball now for the All Blacks. McKenzie kicks in behind. Gets it behind Leo Berry. And the chase is on. Berry makes a mess of it. Secures it half a metre out. The All Blacks drive over the top. France have got back. They've sealed off, have they? No, it's play on. France have it half a metre out from their own try line. And Legatic with the box kick. Finds touch, but only about 15 metres out from the line. All Blacks look to go quickly. But they settle play down now. Artie Savea with the heads-up play. He needs a big second half, Artie. He needs to get across the try line is what he needs to do. Here come the All Blacks now. An attacking line-out throw as France roll out the changes. Four forwards coming off. Mass changes as they look to defend their line here. Goal line defense in the first half was impressive. Can they keep it up? Attacking line-out throw for the All Blacks. Takiaho goes to the middle. France compete. Takiaho wraps around the back of the maul. Dummies. Bust straight up the middle, and he's brought down 6 out from the line. Karifi in midfield. Pops it up for Finau. In front of the posts. 5 meters out from the line. Surveyor goes in and plays scrum half. He's got Takiaho again bursting onto it. The pick and go from Surveyor. Fights his way off one. Fights his way off another. Surveyor. Half a meter out. Ratama digs it out. And now George Bauer goes close. Ratama with the double pump down the short side. France drive through. And All Blacks lose some ground. They're 5 meters out. Big open side to the left, but Karifi tries to fight his way through the middle. Holland has a go. Still going, Fabian Holland. France have held him up off the deck here, and this could be a turnover. And it is. They've kept him up off the ground. And it's a scrum down, France. The goal line defense. All you can do. Hey, I'm going for the All Blacks, but honestly, all you can do is stand and applaud defensive efforts like that. Phase after phase after phase, they repel the attack. And they pile in and hold the All Blacks up off the deck. Scrum turnover. Drowsiest 360. Ahoy, mate. Ches Pocket, ahoy. Six and a half minutes gone in the second half. And the French have already repelled a big opportunity from the All Blacks. And now a full-arm penalty at scrum time as the front row collapses. George Bauer looks like the one who's been pointed out. Demba Bamba. Is that his name? Demba Bamba. Freshly on the field. And gets early scrum domination. Finding touch about 30 out. France win the line-out throw. The rolling maul is set. Going backwards, though. Now they pile in. Legaric brings it out the back and puts the box kick in. Taken by McKenzie at the back. McKenzie's caught by Villiers. Swings him to ground and now fights for the ball and wins the turnover. What a kick chase. What a tackle. Great ruck work. And it's a penalty for France, and this is kickable. This is kickable. Holding on, and Hastoy is looking around. What are we doing? Are we taking the points? Are we putting it into the corner? What's doing here, boys? And they're going to have a shot. It's very kickable. Legaric steps up, and they'll have a shot at poles here. 5 in from touch, 40 meters out. Drowsy us 360. Did the All Blacks field their first team today? No, absolutely not. But it's important to note that this is not France's top team either. This is almost B team versus B team in essence. There's still some stars out there. Quite a few stars out there. But yeah, nowhere near top strength for either country. Legaric with the shot to extend the French lead. Once again, this one's on target. If it holds its line, no, it swings away to the right. And it stays 19 points to 17. 9 minutes gone in the second half. And on come the substitutes now. Brody McAllister and Fletcher Newell. DJ Shack says one thing the France have done really well is they've made the All Blacks pay for every mistake. And it's the All Blacks with the 22-meter restart. Send in it deep. France through Leo Betty. Puts this high ball up. It's contestable. Ruben Love does well to take it. They've been so good in the air tonight, France. That was a hell of a take. Pinau down the short side puts a foot into touch. And we'll come back for the line-out throw to France, who have started this second half very well. This game in Australia is live on Stan Sport. And here on the Waste of Water Sports, we do, of course, have coming up later tonight the Wallabies versus British and Irish Lions in the first test. As Barlow throws, goes to the front. Uncontested ball here for France. Rolling maul is set. It almost goes to ground. Now it does. Collapses over the top of itself. And Ratama gets in and digs this one away for the All Blacks. France dive on the loose ball, though. Biku has it in midfield. All Blacks go off their feet, so they can't compete. Still there now for France in midfield. Attacking left, but angling back in towards the ruck is Deporter. Penalty to the All Blacks. France in from the side. Artie Salvea securing the turnover. 19-17, 50 minutes gone. McKenzie puts this one into touch. They're about 30 meters out from France line. And they'll have the line-out throw, the All Blacks. Live and exclusive on Stan Sport in Australia. Joe Mama. I love that name. Throw into the line-out. All Blacks secure the ball. Uncontested at the back. McKenzie throws it out the back to no one. Villiers toes it through. Ruben Love scrambling back. Dives on the loose ball. Gets up and drives forward. Great work at the back there by Love. But McKenzie, the pass out the back to nobody. Ratama now with the box kick clearance. France have it on halfway. The Gaddick with the cutout pass into midfield. Karifi and over the top, told to release. Wins the turnover. Well, that was an interesting little bit of play there. Duplessis Karifi was in over the top of the ball, had hands on it. Angus Gardner said, no, hands off. But then gave him a penalty for hands on the ball in the ground. But yes, Joe Mama, to answer your question, fantastic name. I'm going to giggle every time I say that name. Am I Aussie? I'm an interesting mix, right? I'm Australian born, half Irish, half Kiwi. I'm a very interesting mix of things. As the All Blacks, a crooked throw into the lineout, but it was uncontested, so fair play. It's straight up the middle. They charge 30 meters out from the line now in midfield. Savea steps off the left, trying to find some open space, but the French defense too strong at the moment. Pinau, strong carry forward. There's some gaps out to the right if they can release the ball there. McKenzie looks that way. Leonard Brown with the short ball for Love. France number up on that short side. McKenzie onto Tupai. Ratama goes in, brings it back into the open side. Tui Pilotu now with a strong carry, but driven sideways. 53 minutes gone. All Blacks going through the phases, but they just can't break this defensive wall. They've had to work very hard for, well, one of their tries. The Will Jordan try was a bit easy, but penalty advantage now as Villiers comes through illegally. And the All Blacks get the penalty. Once the advantage was given, Villiers was just like, bugger it. I may as well just give away the full penalty now. We don't have to go through all this advantage nonsense. Knocking down the shot at 3 here, the All Blacks. It was kickable. Kickable ball. They've decided to put it into the corner. And Geordie Barrett's on. Quinn Tupaia comes off the field, and Geordie Barrett is on for the final quarter of the game. Throw goes to the middle of the line-out. Uncontested. The rolling maul is set. Hakari Mutu, Adi Savea is the All Blacks captain, I do believe. As they break away now, they've been the All Blacks. But Brody McAllister heads back towards the post. Jordan scoops up the loose ball out the back of the ruck. They're 5 meters out. Savea's got it. Playing scrum half. Karifi goes out the back for McKenzie. McKenzie for Tui Pilotu, standing out on the right wing. Spills the ball in contact. And the French goal line defense. Applaud them again. The French goal line defense steps up, and now they get a penalty as the All Blacks go in and seal off from the side. Patrick Tui Pilotu, the big lock, standing out on the right wing. The French goal line defense, oh, they are up for this contest. If there was ever any doubt, they are up for this contest. Finding touch from the penalty just outside their own 22. Over on the left side of the field. Tui Pilotu did everything right there. He kept his body height low as he charged towards the line, but the French defense was just too good. And it pops that ball free. Incredible effort. Line out goes to the middle. France bring it down and back into the 22 for Hastoy to clear. Sends it deep. Can't put it out on the full, of course, and McKenzie takes it. Gives it back infield for Love, who puts it high. Chases through his own kick. Claims it. Ruben Love does well. Ratama now looks for the box kick that's charged down and deflects. Sets up outside now. Jordan gets the ball and heads for the corner. He's taken down on the right edge, 10 meters out. A little bit of luck there for the All Blacks, but they'll take it. Penalty advantage to boot. George Bauer lays it back. Ratama fights for the ball. Here's Geordie Barrett. Out the back to Love, who puts the kick through. Looking for the bounce. Leo Barry has it and runs it into touch. Now, do they come back for the penalty? Yes, they do. They're coming all the way back over to the right side of the field for the penalty, and they knocked back a shot at 3 from pretty much this exact position about 5 minutes ago. Do they take the shot this time and just acknowledge this French goal line defense? They almost have to, don't they, the All Blacks? Acknowledge this defensive effort from France. Wow. They've knocked it back again, have they? Yes, they have. They've put it into the corner. The All Blacks. Well, I would just like to point out the All Blacks have turned down 12 points worth of very kickable penalties. Looping around the back of the line out. Here's Will Jordan. 7 meters out in midfield. Sweeping play around to the left. Mackenzie kicks in behind. Looking for Sever Reese. Reese digs the ball away and it sits up for Duplessis Karifi, is it? Duplessis Karifi gets the try. Well, they turned down the 3 points. They've gone for the try. And Karifi, opportunistic there at the back. The kick through from Mackenzie set up Leo Batty. He's been very suspect in cleaning up those balls. And Sever Reese rips this one away from him. And it sits up for Karifi. All Blacks take the lead. And they justify, finally, turning down the three-pointer. 22-19 with the kick to come. Mackenzie takes this about 35 meters back. 5 in from touch. Hooks pushes it off horribly. Horribly away to the right. 22-19 it remains. And the All Blacks. Hey, there's a chicken, a rooster on the field. There's a rooster on the field. What the hell? Oh, that's fabulous. 59 and a half minutes gone. And the All Blacks have claimed the lead, 22-19. All Blacks secure the kickoff. Will Jordan lays it back. Ratama wants another ruck. He wants a better angle. Ratama with the box kick now. Looking for distance. Finding touch just short of halfway. A nice clearance from Cortez Ratama. Oh, Villiers dislocated a finger. France win the line-out throw. Fiku in midfield. The pop pass goes out the back. And they've got a penalty advantage right on halfway. What can they do with it here? Legatic puts a little chip in over the top. They've been good in the air, competing, France, and now they come away with it. The loose ball. Numbers to the right. And charging for the corner is Galeton. Did he get it down in time? It was loose ball. The All Blacks have scrambled back. The flag has gone up and he's in touch. But that was very scrappy. Oh, he was nowhere near it. All Blacks line out throw. 5 meters out from their own line. Brodie McAllister, what a pressure throw this is. Goes over the top to nobody and France have it. 5 meters out. The pick and go from Melez. They're going to keep this one in tight and try to earn a penalty advantage. 22-19. A meter short. Legaric. All Blacks get a turnover. All Blacks win the penalty. It's Adi Sarvea who steps up with the ball. Oh, this is tense. The ball carrier holding on. Adi Sarvea steps up in the big moments, leading from the front. Boy, oh boy. McAllister. Again, the line out is stolen. France have it 30 out from the line. Into midfield they go. And Hastoy steps and kicks the ball into his own player. An accidental offside. Scrum down for the All Blacks. 30 out in midfield. Just getting in each other's way there, the French. 62.5 minutes gone. All Blacks up by 3. Oh, be right back. I'm out of mixer. Just a couple of little areas of execution lacking. That's been the difference. Scrum down. All Blacks will have the feed. 30 metres out from their own try line in midfield. 63 minutes gone. The All Blacks line out. Gone to hell since Paul Brodie McAllister's come on, but that's a big scrum. Mackenzie now kicks in behind, looking for space. It sits up at the back for Adesogby. From inside the 22, puts the kick up into touch. Not a lot of distance on it. This will be All Blacks throw, 30 metres out. Stephen Peterson, who have I got scoring for the Storm and Sea Eagles? I honestly haven't even seen the team sheets for that game, Stephen. And McAllister again fails to hit the target, but he does get the deflection and secures that loose ball. But yeah, poor Brodie McAllister, he's not having a good time with the line-out throws. And we've got an issue, a shoulder injury from one of the French players who's still down in back play. 64.5 minutes gone. 22-19. All Blacks in the lead. Fabian Holland. Been pretty quiet tonight. Mackenzie goes out the back now for Leonard Brown. Can't get through Giart. Oh, whoever that is for France that's down in back play, that shoulder is gone. It is Pixaron. Knock on by France. Advantage here to the All Blacks. And Angus Gardner blows it up and says, we'll have the scrum. 30 metres out in midfield. And, yeah, poor old Killian Pixaron. He's gone. That shoulder is done. Poor bloke. Landed awkwardly from that line out. Contested the ball. And he hit the ground very, very hard. Dalton Papali'i comes on. 22-19, the All Blacks. This is a tight one. Yeah, McAllister. Here's some highlights or lowlights, as it were, of his few line-out throws. Emmanuel Vincent says sloppy game, really. Yeah, it certainly has been. But, I mean, it's not the top team for either squad, so we do have to take that into account. This is very much the first hit out for a lot of these All Blacks, and France have been shuffling their team all series. So it's kind of understandable in that respect. Scrum down here, 30 metres out midfield. Another big shove from the All Blacks. Penalty advantage as they march straight over the top. Leonard Brown spills it. So we come back for the penalty and a gift 3 points right out in front. 25 metres out, bang in front, a gift 3-pointer. And surely they don't turn this one down. Oh, they're putting it into the corner. I can't believe it. Oh, no. Take the points when they're on offer, for crying out loud. They've put this one into the corner. They're going for the throat. Jeez, I've got to say, this is still, at the end of the day, a test match. I would be giving the French defense a little bit more respect than this. This is now a huge throw for Brodie McAllister. Goes to the front, uncontested. The rolling maul is set. France drive through and stop the forward motion, but look at this formation from the All Blacks. It's very solid, and they punch straight up the middle, going to ground just 2 meters short. Hotham fires it out to Geordie Barrett in midfield. France look to rip it away. Still there, though, just to the left of the post. Big defense from France, driving the All Blacks backwards. Hotham looking short side for Tui Pelotu. Staying on the short side. Papali'i goes to ground. Still 5 out. Hotham dummies. Tries to fight his way under. They've held him up. He does get to ground. Ardie Savea goes into scrum half. Here's Papali'i driving for the line. Fights his way over. He's just short. Dalton Papali'i is so close here. Held up over the line. And they're going to have a look. I think they'll have a look here in the bunker. But the call on field is held up over the line. Well, Dalton Papali'i, he's fired up. He thinks he scored. They're going to have a look. I think he was short. I think he fell short and then went over the line, and he was held up over the line. That's the way I saw it. Angus Gardner has a much better view than I, and he called it held up. But let's see what the bunker says, what the TMO says. He's held up over the line there. There's bodies in under that one. He was initially short. Sevu Reece and Tui Pelotu are celebrating the try. One of the French players is over the other side of the ruck celebrating the held up. So the players are giving absolutely nothing away here. See, I think he's short there initially. Now he gets over the line, and Legatic is under the ball. Here, this is the angle. He's short there. Now it rolls forward, and Legatic gets in underneath it. I think he's short initially, then held up. He definitely gets it to ground. It's just a matter of, was it on the line or not? Oh, has he got it down there? I don't think you could argue either way. I don't think you could argue this call either way. Held up is the call. It's going to stand. Goal line dropout. 68 minutes gone, 22-19. France go quick with the restart. Sending it deep to Sevu Reece, who takes it on halfway. Gives it back infield to Savea, who runs over the top of one. Ardie Savea now still driving forward. Goes to ground, 10 in from touch, 30 out from the line. Fletcher Newell in midfield. Now Hotham digs it out, gives the short ball. Still there for the All Blacks. Hotham with the little chip in over the top, needing the bounce. Savea puts pressure on Adesogbe, who does well. And France come down with it. 15 out from their own line. Le Garrick wants another ruck formed. They've lost some ground, but he's got a better angle. Setting up the box kick now. Le Garrick 5 meters out from their own line, France. Sends it high. Doesn't find touch. Oh, yes, he does. Does find touch. 10 short of halfway. That was a hell of a kick. And the French defense scrambling again, diffusing the situation. Adesogbe on this occasion. And then the kick from Legatic, who's had a great game. Somebody was asking me, Drowsius 360. Were there any standout players? I think for France, Nolan Legaric, the scrum half, scored all their points, really, in the first half, didn't he? As a matter of fact, the only points for France Legaric hasn't scored was the drop goal from Hastoy. I think Ruben Love's been solid on debut. As a nice wrap around here for Severis. Back inside for Barrett. And Geordie Barrett goes to ground. 10 minutes left in this one. Short side. Fabian Holland tries to put the fend on. Tavatavanawa into scrum half. To Bauer. Back in field. And Tavatavanawa now with the pick and go. Good strong drive. And it's been stolen. Ripped away by Barlow. And France back in possession. Hastoy retreats. Puts the clearing kick in. Doesn't find touch. It sits up on halfway. For Ruben Love, who's having a long distance drop goal. And he pushes it horribly off to the right. Well, all I've got to say now is where's the booze? Oh, there's a smattering of booze, I suppose. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because the crowd were very, very harsh on Antoine Hastoy when he had a shot at drop goal earlier. I just wondered if the same chorus of boos was going to ring out for the home side taking a shot at droppy. We've got to be fair about these things, you know. 9 minutes to go, 3 points the difference. France with the restart, send it up to halfway for Reese, who steps off the left and breaks some poor fella's ankles. That was Barlow. Hotham with the box kick in behind. Space again as France were a little too shallow in the defensive line. Adesogby retreats. Claims it 5 meters out from his own line with no angle. Skews it off the side of the boot into touch. Another little advantage there for the All Blacks. And this will be an attacking line-out throw. So that's one thing for France. As good as their goal line defense has been, they've been found wanting a couple of times, a little too shallow defensively, or nobody back there at all for the kicks on a couple of occasions. They've definitely been found out a couple of times there tonight. McAllister throws to the front. The rolling maul is set. 5 meters out. But Karifi breaks away early and gives it to Sarvea, who I don't think was expecting the pass. But it's still there for the All Blacks. 5 out from the line. Bauer heads back towards the posts. Geordie Barrett in midfield. Sets up the ruck. The pick and go from Tui Pelotu. Almost has the ball ripped away. 7 meters out, just to the right of the posts. Holland goes out the back for Tavatavanawa. Flat-footed, made him an easy target. Bauer tries to burrow under. Hotham to Sarvea down this short side. Still on for the All Blacks. 7 minutes to go. They're up to 8 phases now as Holland heads back in field. Tavatavanawa from a standing start, still so strong. Mackenzie, a flat pass to Geordie Barrett. Referee Gardner was right there, though, on the spot. France looked to drive in over the top, but it's still there for the All Blacks. 22 meters out in midfield. Holland on the 22. Here's Jordan at first receiver. To Mackenzie. Short ball to Geordie Barrett, who almost breaks through. Hotham goes quickly down the short side for Karifi. 14 phases. And the French defense holding firm. A try here would obviously seal it. 6 minutes to go. 3 points the difference. Tui Pelotu. Down this left edge they attack. Sarvea with the pick and go. Staying left. Geordie Barrett steps away from one. He's 5 meters out. Severis from scrum half. He has a dart. The pick and go is the option now as they're a meter out. Right on this near touchline, George Bauer. To Sarvea now. Sarvea drives over, but they've turned him on his back and held it up over the line again. the French goal line defense. Look, it looks like they're going to go down in this game, but what an amazing effort it's been. Against a lesser team, the All Blacks probably win this game by 50. They have been peppering the try line. They've been dominant as far as territory goes. But France just keep defending and keep repelling the attack. How many times have we seen the All Blacks tonight held up over the line? Been an immense effort. Ahoy sends the restart deep. McKenzie takes it on halfway. And Dalton Papali'i with some fancy footwork. 30 metres out in midfield. Tavanawai with a good strong carry. Hotham sends it left for Bauer. Out the back for McKenzie, who's looping around. Sweeping around the back of the ruck. Back into midfield. Geordie Barrett holds the pass up. Puts the big left fend on. Gives it inside for Brodie McAllister. And McAllister slides across next to the post. Geordie Barrett with the big left arm. Don't argue. They've finally broken through this French defence. And Brodie McAllister, just reward for a nervous start to his international career. Geordie Barrett, though, with the fend, one-on-one, puts the big left arm out and fights his way through. And ranging up in support, Brodie McAllister. 27 points to 19 with the kick to come from just to the left of posts. 4 minutes to go. Well, 3.5 by the time this kick's taken. Damian McKenzie slots it over to make it 29 points to 19. And the All Blacks, they've had to fight for it. They had to fight to the very end. But a moment of individual brilliance from Geordie Barrett has broken this game apart and secured the victory. France goes short with the restart. They've lost this one forward. Double knock on, scrum down for the All Blacks. DJ Shack says, incredibly brave. French defense has finally been broken. It really has been. It really has been an effort, a commendable effort. Two and a half minutes remaining. Scrum down. Well, I've got to say, a very noticeable difference. There's another big shove at scrum time. The All Blacks substitutes at scrum time have dominated the French substitutes. Penalty at scrum time. When the subs rolled out, the All Blacks have just been marching at will over the top of the French scrum. Been one-way traffic. Drowsy us, 360, yes. Yes, indeed. British and Irish Lions versus the Wallabies coming up next. I mean, we'll have a little bit of a break. We'll have a break for about half an hour and then be back for the first test. British and Irish Lions versus the Wallabies. We've covered all the tour matches except for the game against the Wallabies because it was the same time as State of Origin. So we've been following the Lions all tour. Now the real stuff starts. Wallabies versus British and Irish Lions here on the channel, coming up after about a half-hour break in between this one. But still a minute left in this one. All Blacks looking for another try. Artie Savea in midfield. They've held him up off the deck. Fights his way to ground. That's one area that France have been really good. They've been holding the All Blacks attackers up off the ground. McKenzie to Tavanawai. Again, a rather standing start from the big fella. He still does some damage, though, even from a standing start. Mackenzie to Carriffy. Down this left edge. 30 metres out, the All Blacks. Jordan. Dummies. Spins in the tackle. Lays it back. Hotham goes quickly. Almost gets away. Just brought down by the jersey. The back of the jersey. By Malice. 22 out from the line now. Severis with the pick and go. Severis is determined to get himself across the try line. Geordie Barrett goes into play scrum half and they switch direction. Surveyor down the short side. Flick pass out for Jordan. Will Jordan back inside for Mackenzie, who spills it into touch. And that will be full time. 29 points to 19. But one hell of an effort from France. Honestly, some of the best goal line defense that I can ever remember seeing. They didn't get the job done. All Blacks have run out victorious here by 10 points. But boy, they had to work for every single point, apart from that Will Jordan try. That first Will Jordan try was pretty soft. But outside of that, they had to fight for every single point, the All Blacks. That was incredible defensive work from France. Oh, so, yes, as I was saying, Waste the Border Sports, live on YouTube, live on TikTok, live on Twitch. We will be covering the British and Irish Lions tour of Australia. They're taking on the Wallabies later tonight in the first test. Raven187 says, old mate with 13 and over will be mad. Yeah, somebody put $500 on All Blacks 13 plus. And do we remember what I said? I think I said to him, what a horrible time for the All Blacks to field a B team or something like that. What a horrible time for the All Blacks to field a B team for you, mate, or something like that I said. And yeah, 10 points. I mean, don't let that 10-point margin fool you either. The game was a lot closer than that. I feel like, from what I saw, I think a 1-point difference would have been very acceptable. This was a really, really tight game. Yeah, do not let that 10-point margin fool you into thinking that it was comfortable for the All Blacks at all. France made them fight for every single point in that. So I think in terms of France, Nolan Legatic, what a player. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, we just got a follow on TikTok from a username, see you next Tuesday. I love it. I am going to have a drink to that username. See you next Tuesday. That's fantastic. Yes, Legatic, the scrum half for France, he was immense. I was impressed as well with Gavin Villiers. Is that how I say his name? I don't even know. But Villiers, the winger, I had him in my try scorer multi. Okay, he didn't get across the line, but I think he had a pretty good game. He gave away that one really stupid penalty, which did put a little bit of a sour note on his grading card, but overall, I think he was pretty good, especially in the air. He was very competitive in the air. France won a lot of ball contested in the air, especially from kickoffs, from restarts. I would say, in terms of disappointments, Leo Batty at the back, he was very, very scrappy, scrambling back and trying to tidy up loose ball. One of those situations actually led directly to an All Blacks try, so he was a little disappointing. I expect more from him, personally. Addis Sogby was a little bit quiet as well. For the All Blacks, I don't think anybody in the starting squad's really going to be nervous about their jersey. McAllister and Takiaho didn't really do anything to displace Cody Taylor as the first choice. Damian McKenzie didn't do anything to make Beauden Barrett nervous. Artie Salvea was probably a little disappointing tonight. I really felt like Artie Salvea was going to look. He wasn't bad. Let me just say that. Artie Salvea, he wasn't bad tonight. I just really felt like he was going to step up and take full control of this game. Will Jordan was great, as he always is. Doesn't matter where he plays. Fullback, wing. I mean, look, he's a fullback for mine. But he did well on the wing tonight. And Ruben Love was solid on debut. He had a couple of flaky moments. But, yeah, he was solid out the back. Ruben Love. Well, actually, I said on debut. I don't know if it actually was his debut. But he had a good game tonight. So, yeah, I don't think anybody really threatened to take over any starting places. But they got through their work tonight, the All Blacks, and, yeah, noticeable difference at scrum time when the substitutes came on. So, Ethan de Groot, Takiaho, and Lomax starting in the front row. McAllister, Bauer, and Fletcher Newell dominant at scrum time when the three of them were on together. So, we've got a little bit of a break. Yeah, do or die. It might have been the French D team, but this was like the All Blacks C team as well. So, let's not forget that. This was a couple of substitute teams taking on each other tonight with a little sprinkle of starting lineup players from both squads. All right, so we're going to have a little bit of a break here on the Wasted World of Sports, and we will be back in about 30 or 40 minutes' time for the Wallabies taking on the British and Irish Lions. Looking forward to that one. We've been following the Lions tour all the way through, and it'll be interesting to see that now that they've settled on their top lineup, their top 23. Oh, the next test for France is November 9th against South Africa. That will be a goodie. I'm looking forward to that one. We'll be covering that for sure. November 9th. Mark it in your calendars. Oh, November 9th. I'm going to be in Sydney. I'll still try and do it. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here for this one. Yes. A quick break, about half an hour or so, and then we'll be back for British and Irish Lions versus the Wallabies in the first test. Feel free to come back and join me for that one. Grab yourself a brew, and we'll have a good night. Thank you so much again, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers.